C.S. Lewis's connections with Oxford are very strong indeed. He studied there, taught there, was married there, and wrote most of his many books there, including the world-famous Narnia series. Rob Walters, your Oxford guide, has created a 3-part series on C.S. Lewis's Oxford. In this second video, Rob covers Lewis's graduation, his appointment as a fellow, his meandering around the city.
In part 1, we left Lewis as he buckled down to the study of classics while residing at University College. This is how the university describes the course. The course itself is in 2 parts. Lewis completed Moderations, which covers Latin and Greek, by March of 1920, and he then began the second part, Greats, which combines philosophy and ancient history. He achieved first-class honours in both, a double first, in June of 1922. Partway through the course, he was awarded the Chancellor's Essay Prize, which included an invite to the Sheldonian Theatre to read an extract of his entry at Insignia, the honorary degree celebration of Oxford. But there was also time for social activities. He was an active member of the Martlets, a literary society of the college, and swam regularly in the infamous Parson's Pleasure, near to the weir of the River Cherwell. So, what's next? His long-suffering father had grudgingly agreed to fund his son, and he suspected Mrs. Moore, for another year, so that Lewis could improve his employment prospects in his chosen career as an academic. And so another prize was achieved, a first in English, and that course provided Lewis with 2 influential friendships, Owen Barfield and Neville Coghill. Perhaps the course worked. Lewis became a temporary tutor in philosophy at UNIV for a while, and then gained his dream job, a fellowship at Maudlin College as a tutor, in June of 1925. He would receive a salary of £500, rooms in the college, a dining allowance and a pension. C.S. Lewis had made it as an academic and was to remain in that post for nearly 30 years. Let's take a closer look at Maudlin, perhaps the most beautiful of all the Oxford colleges, and founded in 1458. First, here's the frontage onto the High Street, dominated by its famous tower. The first view of a college for those approaching from London. Inside, there is a beautiful and intriguing 15th century cloister, surrounded by strange stone figures. Then we see the splendid chapel, with its reredos populated by saints. Lewis would have attended many services here after his conversion. He had a special seat, top tier on the left, second in from the altar, and labelled with his name as is traditional for fellows. On the floor above and towards the tower is the dining room, where Lewis would have taken many meals with the other fellows, sitting at the top table at the far end. You can see more of the college in my video featuring this very special college. Go to Rob's Oxford channel and you will find it under Oxford University and Colleges. Lewis's rooms were on the first floor of the new building, just to the right of the main entrance. He was a great walker and often walked from here to his various abodes in Oxford. So let's take a stroll from here towards the house that he finally occupied. Along the way, we will see some of the many houses in which he lived with Mrs. Moore and her daughter, plus other locations in the Headington area of Oxford that influenced his life. First, we pass beneath the ornate wrought iron gates which lead to the tree-lined Addisons Walk beside a branch of the River Cherwell. It is named after a 17th century fellow of the college, and this was one of the many places where C.S. Lewis was nudged towards Christianity. On the left is the Deer Park, which is to the rear of Lewis's building. There is a poem written by him on the wall panel just here. It begins, "I heard in Addisons Walk a bird sing clear. This year, the summer will come true. This year, this year. The walk turns to the right and continues for a long stretch beside the water meadow, an area famed for its snakehead fritillaries. There are then a couple of bridges across the branches of the Charwell leading into the Fellow's garden, from which he could then pass through a gate and up a driveway to the Marston Road. Crossing the road, Lewis would have entered the quaintly named Cuckoo Lane, undoubtedly turning off it for a stroll through the splendid grounds of Headington Hill Hall. So rural here. I'm sure he would have relished it. Rejoining Cuckoo Lane, we soon meet the intersection with Sandfield Road. His great friend and colleague J.R.R. Tolkien lived here at number 76 for the latter part of his life in Oxford. Continuing along Cuckoo Lane, we come to Osler Road. Towards the end of this road is number 131, Courtfield Cottage. Lewis and Mrs. Moore lived here from May of 1920. Returning to the lane again, we pass under a couple of low tunnels and exit onto the old High Street of Headington. Turning right, we come to house number 10. And this is where Joy Davidman lived in 1954. More of her later. That house is quite near to the busy junction with the London Road, and right across from there is Windmill Road, a busy one for Lewis. Mrs. Moore moved here to Uplands at number 54 in August of 1919. Then, in February 1920, Lewis returned to Oxford after visiting his father to find that she had moved to a flat in a house down the road. Hillview at number 76. There he had to sleep on the sofa. Now, a quick dash back to that busy London Road junction, where we head towards London, then very quickly turn right into Hollyoak Road, actually called Western Road in their day. In July of 1922, the trio settled down at Hillsborough House here for a good while before ending their strange wanderings by purchasing the Kilns in nearby Risinghurst in 1930. We'll visit the Kilns in the last part of this trilogy on C.S. Lewis's Oxford. Part 3 will also include his friendship with J.R.R. Tolkien, his conversion to Christianity, his late marriage and final years at Cambridge. You can view that by clicking on the video just after the credits have rolled.